You're here, then you already know that Lenormand has this kismet kind of magic to it. It has a way of finding its people and kind of orbiting around you until you decide to pick it up and work with it. So even though Lenormand kind of finds us, I think what attracts a lot of tarot readers, oracle card readers, and even people who have never been into divination before, what attracts them to Lenormand is that level of specificity that you can get. My name's Emily Rose. I'm a professional Lenormand and tarot reader. I also teach tarot readers and the mystically minded to read Lenormand like they're talking to a friend. And today I am sharing with you some spooky specific client readings that I have done. I'm going to share with you 3 specific readings that I did with clients. I'm going to share the situation. I'll also share the Lenormand spread that I drew, my interpretation, and for most, I have the outcome of the situation itself. All 3 of the clients that I'm talking about today wish to be kept anonymous because all 3 have professional jobs and some of them higher profile jobs as well. And I don't even think any of them own a Lenormand or tarot deck. So getting a reading is a little bit outlandish for them. It's not in their normal daily life. And that is why I love the client base. I have so much. I love being able to, first of all, from a personal development level, see all different kinds of situations, perspectives. It's just a really humbling experience, and it's also an expansive experience as a reader. But the other thing too is you get to see what Lenormand can truly do and what you can do as a reader. And that is what I'm going to share with you here. If you're looking to gain clarity on a situation, have your own kind of spooky specific experience, then you are welcome to request a reading with me. You can find that at emilyrosedivination.com/offerings. And this is what the page looks like when you get on it. And you'll just click request reading and we'll get back to you within a day or 2 for you to schedule your reading if we're a good match. Without further ado, let's dig into these 3 readings that I did. And if you want to play along, if you're a Lenormand learner, then you can go ahead and pause me after I show you the spread so you can interpret on your own, so you can treat this like a practice session. Okay, things are about to get serious, so I have to put on my glasses. First client reading I want to share with you is about a trial. It is a legal issue, so there's a lot at stake here. And this reading is for my client. We'll call him Jay. We were like sort of co-workers for a while, so he's like a friend slash client that I've been seeing for 5-6 years, something like that. And he came to me because he was in an auto accident, and now there was a corresponding trial that was coming up with it to determine fault and damages. Now, I'm not a lawyer. It's probably more complicated than that, but that's what we need to know here. The first thing I wanted to know is just how will the trial go? He wanted to get a sense of what he could expect. So I just asked that question simply. How will the trial go for Jay? And here is what I drew. Here we have the man, snake, clouds, moon, letter, tree, and the man card is charged, meaning I assigned meaning to that card to represent the opposing counsel. So like the, prosecutor, lawyer person from the other side. Right away, we can see that there's going to be some trickery at play. He's going to do whatever he needs to do by any means necessary. And definitely, it doesn't have our client's best and highest good in mind, which we already know. He's the opposing counsel, right? But what was really interesting about this is that I could see he was going to kick up like a lot of dust with the clouds there. He was going to try to create as much confusion as possible. He was going to try to cast doubt as well. And with the moon following that, it's like that's what he's trying to show. He's trying to put the spotlight on all of this confusion. But also, and here's the one of the really specific parts at the end here with the letter tree, we have medical records. And so it's like that's going to be the main focus, is the medical records and trying to cast doubt on the medical records. Question I wanted to know, and this is the big money question literally, what will the outcome of this trial be for Jay? Here we have the key fish, mice, lilies bouquet. Right away, I could see with the key that he was going to win. He would win this case, but I really don't like seeing the fish mice together because it seems like he's going to be getting less money than anticipated. Like they were going to like nibble away at the amount that he was supposed to get over time, and he wouldn't see as much money as he thought. And with the lilies there, it was going to take a long time for him to see anything. I did like seeing the bouquet at the end because I got the sense that it was going to end positive for him, but the bouquet is not a big happy card, right? It's small. So I think he's going to get something for this, but it's probably not going to be the big outcome he's hoping for, but he is still going to win and it looks like he is going to get some money. They did keep me posted throughout the trial, and I received this text from him, which I love to see. So happy that he won. And when it comes to the specifics, I was able to get those because we had a follow-up reading and he was gracious enough to share them with me. Confirmed to me that the opposing counsel went in hard on his medical records. Apparently there was a discrepancy between, different providers, and they dug in on that even though they knew that what they were saying wasn't true, but they dug into it anyway. Also, he said that he still has not received money, but he is promised to receive a certain amount. And it is, in fact, less than what he was hoping for. So we could see this reading playing out in real life. And Jay has told me, I'm a client of yours for life because every time I come to you, I know what to expect. And I always say, like, that's Lenormand. I'm trying to get him to learn Lenormand as well because it's just such a great tool to have in situations like that, to be able to kind of see, hey, this is what to expect. This is what's going to happen. Spooky specific reading I'm going to share with you comes from my client, Vanessa. That's what I'm calling her. That's not her real name. I've been seeing her, though, for 6, 7, 8 years, somewhere in that range, a long time. She was initially an in-person client, and now we work together via Zoom and phone. And what I love about Vanessa is she is really into grand tableaus, and she wants it straight up. She's like, just give me this straight up info. A grand tableau, which is the big mama spread of Lenormand. It's where you lay out all the cards and you're really letting the cards speak. So when we got to the love area of her grand tableau, I could tell that this was an area that warranted more investigation. So I pulled a separate spread after the grand tableau because it was really focused on work. I pulled a separate spread asking what can Vanessa expect in her love life over the next year. So I could tell right away that she was going to have a brief relationship with a man. Ring clover. Clover to me is quick. It's like a fling kind of thing. She was going to have a brief relationship with a man, but I got the sense that he was going to ghost her in some way because we have man stork. So that's, he's kind of flighty, he's non-committal. That's kind of the sense I got there. And then we have woman Lily's cross. So I get the sense of waiting, and it's just so heavy to wait. I wanted more information. And that's the great thing. You can just kind of keep asking questions until you get the clarity, or until it gets so snarky that you just stop. But the next question I asked is, what will occur in this brief relationship? And here's what I drew. I drew heart, fish, clouds, man, stork. So when I saw those first 3 cards come out, the phrase that came to mind was love bombing. People that they shower people in affection and it's just so much so fast. But with the stork there, it seems like he also has this like non-committal energy, and I also get the sense because the stork just kind of flies away, and so I got the sense that he was just going to jet off. Pre-reading ritual, I ask only for information that's going to be helpful, actionable, and in the best and highest good of my client. So when information that's unfavorable comes up, there's usually something we can do about it or an important reason for them to know this at this time. So naturally, I wanted advice for her. I didn't want to leave her hanging this way. So the next question I asked is, what can Vanessa do when this situation arises that's in alignment with her best and highest good? So here's what I drew. I got man, scythe, woman, rider, key. This advice is super clear. It's like cut him out. And the phrase that came to mind here was don't chase the ghost, move on. We have man scythe and then her modifying the scythe. So it's her wielding the scythe is the way I kind of think about that. And it's her cutting him out. And then I see rider key and I just get the sense of moving on, like keep it moving. Don't look back. Vanessa was very much questioning this whole line of questioning. She wasn't seeing anybody at the time. And also, she was not dating, period. She just was not dating. And so she didn't even believe she would have a fling in the upcoming year. Her romantic life was kind of far from her mind. And so she just kind of was at the end of the reading like, okay, I'll keep this in mind, but this doesn't really make sense for me. But you've been right before, so I'm going to trust you. So Vanessa booked another reading with me, and she was just bursting when she came on the screen. Basically, what she said was, I can't believe that you were right about this situation. I didn't honestly believe you before, but as the year progressed, I did meet somebody, we did have a brief relationship, and he did ghost me. And what I found out after some internet sleuthing, she said, is she found out that he had a hidden gambling addiction and that other women had kind of found out that she was dating him and they had sent her messages saying, hey, watch out, he has a gambling addiction and he may steal money from you. So they had kind of found her and let her know, even though he had already ghosted her. And so she said that don't chase the ghost phrase that I had told her really stuck in her mind. And when it happened to her, she remembered it. And I feel like this is just what I live for as a reader, is those things that come to your mind as a reader, and when you tell your client there's something that to you it doesn't mean much, right? But to your client there's something in there, it's almost like a magic phrase that sticks in their head, and that is a phrase that probably saved her a lot of money. Last but not least, I'm gonna talk to you about my client Melissa. That's also not her real name, but we're going with it. So, Melissa is a stay-at-home mom. She has a few kids, but one of them in particular, she wanted to look at their school performance and figure out how they could improve their educational experience and their grades. So here's what I drew. And the question we asked is, what can be done to improve my daughter's grades, or Melissa's daughter's grades? And here we drew Lily, Stork, Moon, Letter, Tower, Man, Bear. Okay, so my quick interpretation of this is that I think her daughter is getting things, but she needs more time. And it's important to look at the IEP in place, which is like individualized education plan. And I just got that from this. How freaking specific, right? I got that she either needed an IEP or it was important for her to have that looked at. And it also showed that her husband was the person to bring this forward to the institution. Just something about that stork in there, stork, moon, also with the letter tower, something about that to me just screamed individualized education plan. And it, if we break it down, it makes sense, right? Stork's all about an individual being independent. And then also when you look at the especially letter tower, that's indicative of an institution, some type of contract or document that's institutionally related. Also, it's something that's steeped in red tape, is the feeling there. And with the moon there, it's like a spotlight. It's like attention on that. So that's where I came up with that. And then also with the man bear modifying the tower, it seems like he was the person to kind of handle this, to take the lead, right? Man bear, it's like a man who's leading. Did confirm that they in fact do have an IEP in place for their daughter. And so this is something that is very much in her awareness that I didn't know about. And she was kind of shocked that I got to IEP right away. Like, how did that happen? But some things just click when it comes to reading Lenormand. And she also said too that she thinks that the administration is a bit sexist, and they tend to respond better when her husband addresses them. So that advice also made sense given the situation, as unfair and lame as that is. It was advice that rang true for her. Confirmed that she didn't think that the school was honoring the IEP correctly. So this whole reading just made a lot of sense. But I also wanted to know if she took this advice and if she had her husband kind of take the lead on the situation and they put a spotlight on the IEP, what would happen? And what I drew here is letter Lily's key. And what I got there was access to more time on tests, which we saw is what she needs in order to progress. If you're wanting your own Lenormand reading, whether you're wanting a grand tableau where we lay out all the cards, or if you are wanting something really specific and laser focused, kind of like the questions that we talked about here today, then you're welcome to request a reading from me. You can do that at emilyrosedivination.com/offerings. I also have it linked down below. This is what it looks like when you head to that page and you'll just click request reading. So much for watching. I look forward to divining with many of you very soon, and I hope you have a fabulous rest of your day.